Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again today. Today I'll be doing a layout of my in-laws using 49 and Market. If you'd like to make a layout like this and know the process of how to do it, please follow along my channel and subscribe. Click the notification bell and you'll be notified of all my future layout tutorials. So I'm working from a sketch today that I've got up on the screen here for Cooking Up Creations. And I'm using the collection from 49 and Market. This is the Sky, I believe it's called, the Sky Collection Kit. So this kit is gorgeous. I love it. I know that I'm going to be doing the 2 photos, and I'm just trying to select some of the embellishments. They have some couple of sheets of die cuts that are just really pretty that you can use that coordinate with everything, and they've got real vintagey kind of feels to them. The one thing I'm not too crazy about, well, I shouldn't say I'm not too crazy about it. I do love 49 and Market. I do love these die cut sheets, but we have a love-hate relationship because I love them that they're not stickers, because it means that I can put them wherever I want to without having to worry about them sticking to everything. But as you can see, I have a tough time getting them apart off the sheet. So I figured out that if you push down on the die that you want and then pick up the paper, it's a lot easier to pull them apart without worrying about tearing off anything off of the embellishment. So once I had figured that out, it was a little bit easier. But for some of the things that are rather small or delicate, you really do want to be careful when you're pulling them out of the sheet because, you know, things happen. So I'm just pulling off some embellishments that I think I'm going to use. I'm going to start off making this layout fairly simple. They have these beads. This is kind of interesting as they're part of the die cut and they look like they're partially cut, but I just can't get them out of the sheet. So I'm not going to use those. I'll use something else to add a little bit of sparkle later. All right, so now that I've got all this together, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the other sheet, just see again if there's anything that I want from there. Maybe I want to map my photos using that other big paper. Turns out that I don't, though. I decide not to. Now I'm going to move on to looking for some sheets that I'm going to use for some of the other background. And they're gorgeous sheets. The problem with 49 and Market is that you don't want to cut it up. It's just too gorgeous. But I do find one sheet that I really love. It's got all this stitching around it, kind of around the center, and I think that's going to be the good sheet, I think, for the sketch that I'm using. So it's not going to be the background paper, but it's going to be underneath the photos and draw attention. And I'm going to have the photos line up with the stitching, sort of. And I think that'll be pretty. So I'm just cutting that off, making sure that it lines up to about the size I need. I don't want to waste any of this paper, trust me. They've come out with new collections too, and I have to get them because they're just, it's lovely to have these papers that you can just start something, you know, just put it down and it's already got a mixed media feel to it. And you can just kind of go ahead, or you can cut them up, as I said, and use them on top of other cardstock, and it still looks amazing. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to line up the photos, how big I want this backing to be. I'm going to take a little bit extra off of it, you'll see. So I don't know if you've read anything on Facebook that I've posted about creating a challenge jar. So I decided that on top of using sketches, to motivate myself, I am going to have a challenge jar with post-it notes that have little things on them, like using sequins, like using one color on a layout, challenging myself to use brads, you know, those types of things. So I'm going to be starting a new YouTube series, and it's going to be on this channel, and I'm going to have probably, I would say, once every 2 weeks, a layout done using one of the challenges. And at the end of the challenge, showing you how I did the challenge, I'll draw another post-it, and then we'll know what to look for the next time. I've decided that what I'm going to do for this particular challenge, I'm going to use sequins on this layout. You'll see where I do that later, so stay tuned. So I've decided that I'm going to actually use cardstock for this instead. You'll see that I did have a piece of 49 and Market paper on the bottom that I was working on top of that I had intended on using for the background, but I decided that I'd rather use this pretty cardstock that I found that goes perfectly with the collection. And so I'm going to do that, but I'm also still going to mat the photos, and I do want the photos to really kind of stand out starkly against this paper. So I've decided I'm going to use a black background because I don't want to introduce another color, and I didn't want to introduce white because then with the mixed media feel of the sheet that's underneath the photos, you wouldn't have noticed the white anyhow. So I thought I'm going to actually do the black cardstock, and I've cut these mats at 4 1/4 square because I know that I've done 4-inch photos square. And I'm going to place that underneath, and I'm just going to use again my handy dandy Scotch glue to work on this particular layout. There's only a few times that I'll actually pull out the Helmars so that I get some adhesion for things like, you know, larger elements. But for the most part, these elements are all flat embellishments, and so you'll see that I'm using the quick dry adhesive again. So we took these photos of my in-laws the last time we went to go and see them in Oregon, and I just couldn't resist scrapbooking the two of these together because they are just too cute. My mother-in-law is constantly saying she doesn't take a good picture, and she's so photogenic in these pictures, but they both look so cute, and they are just lovey-dovey with each other. It's hilarious. So I had to scrapbook that, and you know what? Relationship goals right there. So you'll see more of that in the close-ups too. So I'm just using quick dry. I've put it around the edges because I have no intention of putting anything underneath this particular sheet. Now this particular card was an embellishment that came with the die cut set, and I didn't want to use it to mat the photos. I didn't really want to put it anywhere except have maybe the florals peek out from underneath the photos. And I'm using some foam squares here to just pop up to give some extra dimension. But I love the designs that Katie Pertite had done on this particular collection. If you see my other video with 49 and Market, you'll hear me ranting and raving about Katie's work. So here I'm grabbing one of the, it looks like crocheted ribbon. It's really cool. And trying to figure out the placement for this. I want it coming across. And originally I intended to have it go straight across even to the end of the aqua blue paper there, but I decided to actually cut it a little short. But if you saw that tip, I don't mark things with pencil that often, but what I did is I measured it out to where I wanted it and then just folded it up against my nail a little bit, and that gives me a little crease mark where I know I have to make my cut. So I'm dotting with the quick dry glue here and just going to place it. I fiddled around with it a bit, and this is one of the reasons why I love the quick dry adhesive. It's thin, which is great, but it gives you wiggle room. So I can move this around. I play with it a little bit here, a little bit there, pulling it up, pulling it down, and in the end, I decide I want it peeking out a little bit more because it's just such a pretty sort of crochet look that I didn't want to cover it up too much. So now I'm going to actually put foam squares again on the photo mats to put the photos down. And then we'll get to embellishing. And I want to put these off on an angle just a little bit, just because, you know, sometimes you play with things and they don't look perfect when they're straight, and me, you know me, perfectly imperfect. So there we go. That's what I'm doing. So I'm actually working on an embellishment corner down at the bottom, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit off screen. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the leftover paper that I had cut up already, and I'm going to create I guess, what would you call that, a banner flag? That is, or a pennant, I guess, that is going to stick out from the left of the paper. So there you can see it there. And I'm just going to create a little cluster down at the bottom here, just to create that sort of diagonal interest across the page. And I'll tell you, because these papers are beautiful, you flip it over and you just kind of go, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that side instead. So it's a real tough thing trying to not use every little scrap of paper from this collection, let me tell you. So I think you'll see me use little scraps along the way. And then this is another die cut that comes with the collection. It's full of these butterflies and botanicals and all kinds of things. Yeah, it's really, really pretty. And then there's this cute little butterfly, so I'm going to pop that up for dimension, make it look like it's flying off. And thanks again, Charlotte, for telling me about how to get these silly little backings off really easily. Using my piercing tool or my weeding tool for my silhouette really did help. I still struggle though, you see. So call me, with all the little things, you know, little tiny things, I struggle. So now I'm just going to pop up things, give them a little bit of foam so that they don't lay flat, because they're already up on, popped up a bit, but you know, corners are kind of sagging, so I didn't want that happening. So here I've got two round elements that or embellishments that come from the kit, so I'm actually going to pop one up on top of the other and then use that on the layout. And I love tucking things in all the little spots and corners. This is actually a nice, simple sketch and very easy to make your own. I didn't follow it to the T, but it just gave me an idea of where I wanted to jumpstart from. And so I love that. So now I've got these chevrons that I'm going to glue down and try to get them as straight as possible. And I'll play around with that a little bit. They move a little bit off to the side, but that's okay. Now I'm figuring out, there's this little word sheet that I had left over. I cannot remember for the life of me who made it, but it had this little tag that said, I love your smile. And so I wanted to put it onto the little tab that came with the kit. So that's what I did. And I'm going to put it up on top of the photos at the top. I showed my husband this layout after I was finished, and he said maybe I should make another one to send to them. It'd be really nice to do. So I found afterwards that I needed another title, though. I needed some extra words, and of course I have this Prima alphabet and words sticker sheet that came from one of their collections. I can't remember which one at the moment, but it'll be linked down in the description. And it's got little tags that have small words. It's got words that you can use together for titles, and I just love it. So in the description box for this video, you'll see all of the tools and, well, not necessarily the tools, but the products that I used. Also, if you're liking where this is going and you want to copy this layout, be sure to subscribe so that you're notified of my upcoming challenges and my upcoming layouts. So you see there's not much mixed media here. I'm putting on some of these little wish bubbles, I think they're called. And let me see, are they wishing? Yeah, wishing bubbles. And I love that they're already on, some of them are already on pop dots so that they're popped up, but some are flat like enamel dots. And they're clear, and they've got sort of a watercolory kind of effect on them. They're really quite pretty. So I think I'm done there, but I'm going to actually add, you know me, I need to have my sprays, my splats. So I've got my Color Shine spray in Seafoam. I figured that would be a good mix. And I've got that. I'm going light on it today. I'm not going crazy with it, but I just needed to have a little bit of something extra on the cardstock. And then I'm going with my Diane. This one is Diane Reevely's ink spray by Dylusions. That's white, and it dries opaque, which I really like, but it kind of lightened up the layout a little bit. So here's the layout. You'll see that I actually added some additional embellishments. I've got some extra sequins. I've got some florals, of course. So if you like the layout, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, list them in the comments, and we'll see you next time on my next layout.